Are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Tool to Play presents Still Got Game with Derek D. Smooth Nolan and Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
If you'd like to sponsor Still Got Game, email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. Hey now, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Still Got Game, episode 301. Still Got Game's official podcast of tooltoplay.com. I am, as always, Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
And joining us later from the news desk will be Tiffany Electrify Nolan, but not quite yet. So Joel Dude I Rock Albert, what's been going on with you, buddy?
Nothing. I have been in Florida for the last week, just sitting on a beach doing not much. It's been fantastic.
Vacations are good. I know.
Yeah.
This is our show that is right smack dab in the middle of our vacation. So you did your Florida thing, and then we leave for and we're gone in Hawaii all next week. So there will be no show next week for those of you that are trying to keep track of what's going on here. So we had our 300th episode, then we took a week off. Then we have this episode. Then we're taking a week off, and then we're back to our full glory of weekly shows. Or at least that's the hope.
We think. We think that's going to happen.
Yeah, at this point, that's the plan on record. And it's subject to change at any and all moments.
Right.
But, yes. All right, well, why don't we just jump right in the meat of the show? Remember, if any of you want to leave us feedback, it will cut you off after a minute. And for those of you, just to help keep things a little shorter, if you're going to leave us an email feedback, let's just try to keep it a little more concise. We have some great feedback this, but it gets a little wordy, and it's nothing against you because I didn't warn people that. I always tell people, voicemails, keep them short, but also comments. Let's just keep them a little bit more concise so that we can fit them on the slides of the show. I could read till I'm blue in the face, but Hit takes these things, he types them in, they show up on the video, they look all fancy and shit. So Hit can either shrink the font really, really small and no one can read your comment, or he has to break it in multiple pages. So we'll just keep it short, concise, and to the point. Drekus comments. Episode 300 delivered. It was synergy to have Code Monkey back on, although it was weird to actually see him. Congratulations, guys. Yeah, it was good. It was good to have him on. I'm not sure why. Was it weird to see him because he looks weird, or was it weird to see him because you just haven't seen Code before? Or
I think Code looks weird. I'm going to put this out there for the whole internet. I think Code looks a little weird.
Yeah, with his completely bald head and the giant headset that he had on the video, it could have been a little off-putting if you were not expecting that. But you never know.
We love him anyway, though.
Yes, Code.
He's a blast to have on. He always has great comments and great commentary, and I'm a huge fan of his. So.
Yeah, he was a longtime host, and it was good to have him back, and that was a nice way to celebrate episode 300.
Absolutely.
All right, now the next two comments I'm going to roll together because I found these really interesting. Loin Puncher, who is one of our favorite commenters, Loin Puncher comments. Great episode last week. Congrats on episode 300. Also, I love the song at the end. Really speaks to our generation. What song was that? And similarly, Grape Haze comments. As someone that's been listening for almost 6 years, it was so cool of you two to bring back Code Monkey for your celebration. On a side note, you capped off the show, which might have been the most fitting one in a long time. I need to find it. So many laughs, and looking forward to episode 400. So for those of you that are saying the song that we capped the show with is super fitting and it fits us and it couldn't be more of us, that song was by none other than One Direction. And it was Act My Age by One Direction. Since you want to know, that is the song that it was. But you, Loin Puncher and Grape Haze, are, in fact, 1D fans.
Yeah, so now run into a corner and cry. First of all, for two reasons. One, that you like that song. And two, that you listen to a dude who likes that song and put it at the end of our show.
Hey, it was a fitting song.
It was a fitting song. Yeah.
But it's funny that people are like, "Whoa, I wish I knew that song before."
I never knew I was so into One Direction and also dudes.
But yeah, it was. I saw the first comment come in. I was like, "This is gold," and then the second one came in, and I was like, "Wow, that's the icing on the cake." So sorry, guys. Great. Actually, I think both of them have commented before. So Repeat commenters that are 1D fans. That I guess that's what we're building up is a huge fan base of One Direction fans that also love Still Got Game. Yeah,
yeah. I hope that's the precipice of everything we've been working towards.
It's like Oreos dipping in milk. Like they go together. Just Still Got Game, 1D. Still Got Game, 1D, or maybe not. But thanks for those comments. And last but not least, and well, certainly not least, Arthur Maloney comments. Just discovered you guys a couple weeks ago, and it's really nice to find a site for those of us that are a bit longer in the tooth. I love the podcast as it makes me crack up the entire time. It definitely helps on long commutes or long grinding sessions in RPG. The energy you both bring to the show is amazing, and it sounds like me and a lot of my old buddies sitting around discussing games. With that said, I have to take you to task on the way you were ripping on Code Monkey about buying games and movies on discs, as I too buy everything on disc whenever possible. Now, I know that digital might make sense when it comes to sharing games over Xbox Live in a multi-Xbox household, like both of our households. However, in the future, Microsoft is going to say it no longer makes sense to keep Xbox One servers up and shut them down. Now, that part I might disagree with. At that point, you will not be able to go back and download the games you bought. Now, at any point, if your console fails, you lose all the games you downloaded to that console. Even if you pull the hard drive or use external drive, you cannot hook up to another Xbox and play games since DRM is registered to your Xbox. All of a sudden, discs start making more sense, especially for the majority of us that just have a single console. As long as I have my disc and a working console, I can go back and play any game that I have at any time. Not trying to rag on you guys, but there's a very valid reason for being a disc-based house as well.
No, there's a lot wrong with this. I mean, I could probably actually pull most of these comments out and refute almost every single one of them if we want to do that. First of all, let me say, if we do decide to refute them, I haven't decided yet. We appreciate the comments.
Yeah, and we appreciate you being a new listener that likes the show.
Yeah.
Now let us completely ram it up your ass. No. You make some points that were good lots of years ago.
Right.
But
that's the problem. Yes. Lots of years ago, a lot of these were correct.
Yeah. I don't think that at any point now, Microsoft is going to be like, let's shut down the Xbox One service. And you know what? If they do, it's probably at the point where we no longer want these games. Like, look, the Xbox 3 Shitty still has plenty of games. You can go download games that you bought on day one. You can go download whatever that Hexic HD. Yeah, go back there, go to your Xbox One or Xbox 3 Shitty, download Hexic HD. It was a day one game in 2005, and you can still get it today, almost 10 years later. So do you want that game now? Probably not. And if they ever shut it down, by that point, we're going to be on the Xbox 10.
And this is what I always call like bomb shelter thinking, right? So yeah, they might drop a nuclear bomb on us one day, and sure, we could build that shelter if we wanted to. However, it doesn't make the point any more valid. So you can say, yes, maybe possibly Microsoft will one day decide to shut down the entire Xbox system completely, making all games unplayable for that point forward. So sure, you could plan ahead for this future that has not happened and really there's no indication that the future will happen. So you can do that. But that doesn't actually make the point any more valid. Doesn't mean that these discs are more valuable. They're not. And on top of that, if all of a sudden they did shut down Xbox Live, pretty much all of those disc games that you currently own also probably will not work. Because most of them, if not, I would say 90% at this point, are online based and they make pings to the server to check the validity of those games themselves. So the problem is, if they decide to shut it down, you're just going to have a lot of coasters at your house. And that's really what it's going to come down to. You're just going to have a lot of cool things to put your beer on top of. But again, it doesn't mean the disc itself really is any more valuable.
No, it's not the savior. Not at all.
Yeah. And also, if I do decide to switch to another system, I can actually take my hard drive out. If I have a portable one that I plugged into my Xbox One and I pull it out, I can just reinitiate it on whatever Xbox I want to. That's another problem right there, is like that point of I can't make that switch if it fails. I can do that. I can absolutely unplug my system. If I have actually right here, I did it for the show to prepare to refute you. It's a little terabyte hard drive. If it fails, the Xbox, pull it out, have all my Xbox One games on here, go to my other system, plug it in, just checks to make sure I'm Dude I Rock, I own this game, verified, done. Play the game.
Yeah, it doesn't have the actual console tag like the previous ones did.
Yeah.
Now it tags your home console,
Right.
and it tags whatever console you're logged in on, and that's it.
That's it. So, yeah. Don't think of it as us refuting. Think of it as we just gave you some kick-ass knowledge. Maybe you don't have to use discs anymore.
Yeah, and we just brought you in the discussion. Now you are internet famous.
There you go.
So,
Good shit.
give awesome feedback like that. Give us a call, 773-527-2961, or email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. And in site-related news, we had nothing except the outline all of a sudden got some shit dumped in it here by Tiff that I'm going to try to do a cold read of, but I have no idea what the fuck she's typing. This is why we do this long before the show, hon. She's saying that there's going to be possibly an upcoming Destiny Raid community event thing, maybe, and she's getting feedback from the community now on how we should set this up, but it may be a completion times type of thing, so it's pitting various different groups within the Tool to Play community against each other and say, well, how fast can you do finish Crota on easy without cheesing, or bang through Vault of Glass hard and compare times, and all those times are available at the end. So the only thing that would be honor system would be the cheesing effect, unless people were streaming on Twitch or whatever, but could make to be something interesting. So we will keep you up to date on that, and we will let you know what's going on with that in upcoming weeks. And on that, Jay, why don't we hop on over into what we're playing? So Joel Dude I Rock Albert, what were you playing in Florida this week?
I wasn't playing anything because I was in Florida.
Nothing even on your phone?
No,
you didn't pull a
I
Code
didn't on my
Monkey with
phone.
like
I didn't,
Jizz Commandos 15 or
See, that's the thing is when I don't have games available to me, I refuse to go to the saddest possible game in order to get my fix. So no, I actually did not play any games. Plus, if I did play any games, I'd probably get in a shit ton of trouble with the significant other. She would be mad.
That's funny
She would be really mad.
because my wife's trying to convince us to take the games case to Hawaii.
You should. The whole time I was the irony is the whole time I'm like, damn, Derek's got that games case. I really wish I had a fucking games case right now. Not that I would ever be able to open it and or play it because I'd be beaten over the head. But I was just like, man, this would be a perfect opportunity to bring this games case and start playing. Because my actually went with my brother too. So the both of us are sitting in this, like he's got his wife and kids and I'm obviously got my significant other as well. And then both of them are like, if you play any fucking games, we'll murder you. But the whole time we're like, we're just sitting here. We should be playing games. Why are we not playing games? So I fully understand. But
there's a lot of talk on that at our end. So that may be coming to Hawaii with us, but we'll
go
see.
for it. Go for it. Nature is not that awesome. Trust me.
Agreed. Especially if there's no casinos around. Like Hawaii doesn't have any casinos. It's like the ultimate dick tease of vacation paradise. It's like it's a paradise, but without casinos.
Well, it's like you could only walk outside so many times and be like, oh, the ocean. And then eventually you're like, yeah, I get it. There's a fucking ocean there. Shouldn't we be playing Halo at this point? I think we probably should.
Also, I'm a guy. Like it's the ocean. Yes.
It's an ocean. There's waves. It's sunny out. Great.
Yep. There's only I can drink alcohol inside or out. Like,
right. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Rain or shine.
I'm location agnostic.
Exactly.
So well, I only play Destiny. That's all I ever play. So it's been good. We've been busting out all the usual content, all of the raid content, all of the Nightfall, all of the strikes, all the usual things that everybody does during the week, and it's fun. But and we'll rinse and repeat that when we get the reset tomorrow. And Crota Hard drops on Wednesday.
That's right.
We'll see how that goes.
Now, can I ask you this on a personal level here?
Are
you at this point getting tired of Destiny at all? At all?
Not yet.
No
I don't
fatigue
think
so far.
No, because the content right now, like I could play Vault of Glass a million times. Like I just find the mechanics in that raid
I agree.
super fun. Now Crota is missing a lot of the fun stuff until you get to the third phase of Crota.
Right.
The early mechanics, there's something fast and frenetic about the first part of Crota where you're just hauling ass and the fucking million guys chasing you, but it's missing that kind of fun puzzly stuff that was all part of the Vault of Glass.
Absolutely.
Which is what makes that raid almost more fun. And
discovering Vault of, even when it's ironic because I feel like we already knew a lot of those things going into Vault of Glass because so many gamers had played it. We knew sort of the basic mechanics. And it was still fun discovering those mechanics and working through them as a team for the first time. And that level of puzzle solving, like you said, just isn't in the Crota raid. And it's more like, oh, kill this meat shield. Here's the puzzle, but we're also going to solve it for you. Is almost the way it feels. This is how you do the puzzle. So, I mean, I've definitely got some of the fatigue. Obviously, we still have our Wednesday raids, but I have not attended one in probably 3 weeks, mostly because now we're at that grindy part, and that's usually my brain shuts off once I get there. But the raid itself is still good, I would say. It's just that piece seemed to be missing. So I wanted to ask you, because I haven't talked to you about it in a while, how you felt about it.
No, I still am enjoying it, so it's good. And if you ever are looking for a more casual raid and you don't want to raid with your normal boys, we always have an opening Tuesdays. We usually fill it with someone from our community, which is nice.
That may happen. My brother may hate me for it, but I might do it.
Yeah, no, it's always good. So we pull in different profanity guys, different tool to play guys. It's always rounds out differently each week, which makes it nice because then you're playing with different people. Yeah. Even though you're doing the same thing, you're not getting in that same rut, which is what drove Tool to Play Halo people nuts for a while. It's like, yeah, everybody's playing Halo, but those 4 guys are always playing. Those 4 guys are always playing. So by having like a raid group that has some fluctuating spots, at least you're hanging out with other people. Sometimes you're learning new things, and other people play things differently. Other people have different experiences. They play with other people, and they're like, oh, next time, maybe you should bring in this guy. And so it keeps it fun having, granted, you don't know who's going to be in your raid going in that night, but it's not that hard to fill out. Like, there's never been a point where you didn't fill out the raid group within half hour or so, which is nice. So always getting someone else in, but it's a good time, no fatigue, and I'm looking forward to this week. But all right. Well, normally, Jay, at this point, we would jump in the new releases, but once again, we're still January. You have to be a complete moron to put out a new release in January. So there's some fucking downloadable shit. There's XBLA stuff, PSN stuff. Saints Row has some ghetto fake mid-range Saints Row that came out this week, but it's not a legit title. So we're not going to cover anything that's not legit or not something that we care about. So to all intents and purposes, no new releases out this week. So on that, we're going to go over to the news desk with Tiff for gaming news. So what's going on, Tiff? You ready for this?
Hey, guys. I am all ready. I even remembered to unmute my mic.
That is pro as fuck.
I know.
Step one of vidcasting is
exactly
when you talk on camera that people hear your voice go along with it.
Yes. Awesome. All right. First story. UK teen arrested over suspected involvement in Xbox Live and PSN DDoS attacks, and this comes from Joystick. An 18-year-old male was arrested as part of a larger investigation into the attacks which brought down the PlayStation Network and Xbox Live in 2014. This is according to a statement released earlier this week by UK's Southeast Region Organised, with an S, Crime Unit. I'm going to guess that's Soroku?
Soroku? Yeah, that's about as good as you get.
It sounds good to me.
Yep, so that's the acronym there. Craig Jones, who is head of Soroku's Cybercrime Unit, attested to working with the FBI on the investigation, which also includes numerous swatting offenses, which hopefully you guys will explain what those are, because I'm not really sure.
We shall.
Oh.
This investigation is a good example of joint law enforcement cooperation in relation to a type of criminality that is not restricted by any geographical boundaries, Jones said. We will continue to work closely with the FBI to identify those who commit offenses and hold them to account. The alleged cybercriminal was brought in under suspicion of unauthorized access to computer material contrary to Section 1 of Computer Misuse Act 1990. Unauthorized access with intent to commit further offenses contrary to Section 2 of Computer Misuse Act 1990, and threats to kill contrary to Section 18 of Offenses Against the Person Act 1861. Wow, I hope you guys know what all of these mean.
We are well versed in all of the UK's computer use acts, because Jay and I, we have to walk a fine line when we do the show. We're always like, oh, if we say anal fisting again, that might go under the Computer Misuse Act 1995, and then we're like,
that's right.
We better say anal play and anal fisting. Like there's ways to walk around all this stuff. So. Tiff, as you asked, swatting is when it's become more and more popular, and it's horrible. It's when someone is super jelly of a live streamer, and they're like, oh, they're streaming right now, and they literally say, this person has they're selling heroin out of their house, or they've got guns and ammo, and literally a SWAT team shows up, and they usually try to while they're live streaming. We've covered some of these stories before in the past,
Yeah, it's
but
happened a bunch.
swatting is fairly dangerous because when the officers are going in with guns blazing and they don't know that it's all just a big fucking joke, the smallest misstep from the person in gets their door busted down could get someone shot or killed, and it's not funny at all. So
Nope.
PSA: swatting sucks. No swatting. Still got games against swatting, 100%. But we love lit.
Yes.
Just we always have to make sure that we don't upset those guys because we and anonymous,
Like my
anonymous
network.
too.
I love
Yes.
it.
Anonymous, we love you guys too.
Want to keep.
Yep. So yeah, that's this is, I guess it's good news, except it's a potentially it's. I would assume that this kid that got caught is not part of the actual Lizard Squad attacks, and he is more brought up on the swatting stuff and other stuff, and he's just being either coded or emotionally brought into this because
I would say so.
it doesn't seem like that is the mastermind behind attacks that could bring down two major online gaming networks in one day. It is, people do a lot of stuff at 18. Bill Gates did a lot of stuff at 18. Steve Wozniak did a lot of stuff at 18. But, this kid, I find this hard to believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a great opportunity for them to just roll that in because everyone was so pissed about what happened over Christmas. So, if they caught him for swatting, why not roll him into, this other bullshit? I feel like it's not going to be like swatting obviously doesn't take any technical skill. All you have to do to be a swatter is be a dick and have a telephone. Those are the two requirements. That's it.
Oh, and there's a third. You have to be able to Google up someone's home address.
True. That as well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
You have to get their address. That's true. But I mean, are you going to then be the mastermind that, puts forth in one of the largest denial of service attacks, probably one of the largest that I've ever been aware of for such a long sustained period of time? I don't think so. I mean, I just could be wrong. Plenty of 18-year-old kids sit in their rooms all day and learn a lot more about computers than I ever did when I was 18. So certainly a possibility, but it doesn't seem like it. But like you said, it's still a good thing. I mean, if he's swatting, if he's doing anything like this, just get rid of it. Stop it right now. So, it's good.
Agreed. All right. Next story.
Civ designer Sid Meier announces new Starships strategy game, and this comes from The Verge. Sid Meier is heading back to outer space. Following the release of last year's Civilization Beyond Earth, the famed designer has announced his Firaxis studio is working on another sci-fi strategy game called Sid Meier's Starships. While Beyond Earth focused on what would happen with humans first left Earth and started colonizing planets, Starships is set much further in the future. What happens after we colonize our new home and eventually build starships to take to the stars, he said. What has become of our long-lost brothers and sisters from planet Earth? My goal was to create an experience that focuses on starship design and combat within a universe filled with interstellar adventure, diplomacy, and exploration. Based on early screenshots, it looks like the experience won't stray too far from the Civilization series, with hex-based boards and plenty of menus, along with a bigger focus on combat. Thankfully, we'll get to check out Starship surprisingly soon, as it's due to launch early this year. Early this year for Mac, PC, and iPad. So, do you guys have any interest in this? It seems pretty quick to announce a game, and hey, here it is.
Yeah, but the thing about Civilization, the way this at least read it, it's really it's like extremely based on Civilization. So I don't think it's a big development for them. I think what I like about this is how they're saying it's going to be more focused on combat, because Civilization attracts like a very particular crowd and they're extremely into it. Like if you like Civ, you're like, oh, yesterday I spent 15 hours playing Civ until my eyes fucking bled and then I woke up, threw up and did it again. So they know it's a cash maker there. And I think if you can get the combat in, the stuff that maybe I would be more interested in, because I actually used to play Civ a long time ago, I think you could capture a whole different market and bring it together. So it is a little quick. I totally agree with that. But they're striking definitely when the iron's hot. Civ was really popular this year, continues to be popular, and is growing. And I think this is like a really awesome additive. I mean, I don't know how big of a game it's going to be, but it's definitely cool. For sure.
It seems like a lot of it is played off of, like they took Civ and they were like Civ Beyond Earth and they brought in all this fucking space stuff and they're like, whoa, people like that.
Love it. Yeah.
All we have to do is just reskin our for the 80th time. And because Civ it's all the, what do you call it? The fucking tiles. And it's basically what every Civ game has been for 15, 20 years now. And they just keep you up the graphics, you do this. So if they actually bring in some combat stuff, that's a plus. But
Yeah.
I have a bad feeling that the combat improvements are going to be minimal, and it's more of let's read the same engine we already have and put it in a new place. But people love Civ. People love the Civ games, and I'm sure that this is going to be a huge seller no matter what. It could suck, and it'll still sell a shitload.
Yeah, and honestly, having it on iPad alone makes it like more of a worthwhile buy for me. It could be one of those games that finally gets me off the PC itself to play on a different device. So, I mean, it's cool. You know, it's like if you were ever into Civ and it's something that you might, maybe I would assume is going to be a little bit more on the casual side of things, more action based. It could be an awesome thing to put in your pocket and take along with you. So, and obviously if you have an iPad, probably a huge pocket, but portability, right? So that's, I mean, it sounds cool. I'm cool with it.
Nice. Agreed.
Shit.
All right. Next story.
Early Halo MCC buyers receive a free month of Xbox Live Gold, and this comes from Joystick. Halo, the Master Chief Collection, has provided a troubled walk down memory lane for many people, but at least the fans are being rewarded for their patience and support. Messages detailing a free month of Xbox Live Gold showed up in the inboxes of Spartans yesterday, referring to the gift as, quote, appreciation for your continued support of Halo, the Master Chief Collection. The notice adds players don't need to do anything further to redeem their free month of gold. Bernie Ross, head of development at 343 Industries, explained in an apology last month that a free month of gold would be gifted to the Master Chief Collection players in an effort, quote, to make it right. Additional thank yous are coming in the form of a free 1080p 60 FPS Halo 3 ODST campaign, woohoo, due to arrive sometime this spring, and an exclusive nameplate and avatar. Anyone who purchased the Master Chief Collection between its November 11 launch date and December 19, 2014 is eligible to receive these gifts, though a reworked version of the relic map from Halo 2 will also be eventually offered to all players via a free update. So the thoughts on this, guys, is this enough? I mean, really, like they really pissed a lot of people off. Is this enough a free month? And, you know, hey, here's some cool like campaigns from ODST.
Yeah, ironically, we laughed at the stuff like with Sony, right, where they give you the extra month or whatever. It's the same thing. Them giving us an extra month means nothing. It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't really cost them anything. So at least that part of it is just not really like, yeah, okay, so everything's the same.
Have you gone back to MCC?
Not at all. I
No,
played the
neither
beta,
are we.
right? You play the Halo 5 beta, I'm assuming.
No, that the irony is we are so fucking balls deep in Destiny, and MCC let me down so much I didn't even try the Halo 5 beta.
Wow.
And I had full access to it.
Wow. I mean,
Yes.
it's not bad or good, I would say. at
Oh,
least
Hit
that.
is saying it's bad. Hit's throwing thumbs down. No, Hit's not saying it's bad. Hit's saying that we're
He's
bad
saying
for not
you're
trying
bad.
it. Yes,
He's saying
yes,
you're
yes.
bad. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
But then again, like Hit is the person that would give a great review if Master Chief came to his house and took a shit on his forehead. He'd probably still
I
be
would have
happy.
always given a great review for that too. This is the first time that I have been disenchanted with the Halo franchise.
The entire series, yeah.
Yep.
And I would say the same. I did it literally as looking at it as a reviewer. I was like, you know, I haven't booted this fucking piece of shit up in a long time. And I think it was Hit that sent me a text message just being like, oh, have you played yet or whatever? And I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't even know it was live. Like, I didn't even know. I downloaded it, played it for, you know, maybe 20, 30 minutes. Then went into, because I was in the game, I was like, oh, maybe I'll see how MMC has been. And I think I played maybe one or two games and the connection was still fucking shitty. And I was like, okay, I'm forever. It was like all right, well, that's it. It's been like 4 or 5 months. I tried again. That's it. We're done. All right, no more Halo. And it didn't, for me, if anyone knows me, I love to shit on Halo. It's like a side job that I have.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I could just shit on Halo again. So, yeah.
Yeah, we were gone during most of the Halo 5. We came back. We could have put in a day of it, but we opted not to at that point. But yeah, I think this is a little too late. We still have it, and you know, maybe someday we'll hear, hey, you know, everything's fixed, or the next time we have our LAN, people will be like, oh, Halo, and then maybe it'll be fixed by then. We can all play at the LAN. But because really, Destiny is not a LAN game. There's not really a whole lot of other LAN games. So it's either go back to the old Halos and bring some old shitty consoles, or hopefully MCC is fixed and everybody can get their Halo on at the Tools Play LAN.
That's what I will
2015.
say. Totally agree with you. Perfect place to do it. So, assuming they get their shit together, perfect place to do it. But I will say, going to the actual story itself, at least they're trying, right? Like, question mark?
Throwing a bone out there.
Throwing
something out
okay.
there.
We're getting, the 60 frame per second Halo 3 ODST campaign thing is cool for people that love that shit. But because I don't like a campaign, I don't give a shit about it, it again doesn't affect me. So it's like we're getting a bunch of stuff that doesn't affect me.
Yeah, ODST was kind of the bastard child.
Yeah, it was the bastard.
None of us really liked.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed. No.
All right. What else we got, Tiff?
We have this week's What the Fuck story. Hotline Miami 2 designer to Australian gamer, quote, just pirate it. And this comes from Game Politics. If you're worried that you won't be able to play Hotline Miami 2, wrong number in Australia due to it being refused classification in the country by the Australian Classification Board, then perhaps Hotline Miami 2 designer Jonathan Soderstrom from Denton Games has an answer you might like. Hey, just pirate it. At least that is what he told one fan who emailed him and offered to send him money directly to get his hands on the game when it is released later this year. As highlighted in a screen cap of an email that was posted to a Reddit thread, Soderstrom had a very direct and surprising response to the query. Well, if it ends up not being released in Australia, just pirate it after release, he said. No need to send us money. Hey, just enjoy the game. There was some question as to whether this email was real or that the person in it was actually Soderstrom, but that quickly cleared up in a tweet from Fork Parker, the fictional CFO of the game's publisher, Devolver Digital, but very real representative of the company, who simply said, yeah, that's him.
Yeah, this doesn't surprise me, by the way.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah. Australia gets the shitty. I feel terrible for Australia because they pay like triple. They don't get shit for years sometimes after we get it. They continuously get fucked over. And it's one of those situations where the brand of your game starts to matter way more than the money. So if you're making a game you spent all your fucking time on and there's a fan out there that really, really wants to play it and they're in a country that for whatever fucked up reason they can't get licensing or whatever, or they're going to play triple, this is a good move. This is one of the best PR moves you could possibly make. Just steal it. Just fucking steal it. He's not saying everyone steal it. He's saying the people that can't get it, go get it. I think that's great.
Yeah, I think what's more fucked up here is the honesty level of this lead designer guy, and it's definitely refreshing. It's not something you see a lot, and you're exactly right. Hey, if you can't buy it, don't try to send us money through some back channel thing. You know what? Fuck them. Just take it for free and play it. And it's awesome. I wish more people did this because there's a lot of games that either get the shaft in Australia. Germany's another one that gets. Not that we support all the weird German laws about video games, but Germany has these super restrictive laws. Well, it can't have blood that's this color. It can't have any Nazi symbols, and it can't have this. Japan's the same way. Blood has to be green, and imagine playing a shooter.
Skeletons. Literally, they're not allowed to show skeletons. In World of Warcraft, they had to spend millions of dollars going into their game because when you die, you have a little skeleton on the ground. They had to make I think it was like a tombstone or flowers pop up. That's literally for the entire game across the board. So it sucks sometimes, depending on where you live. It sucks. Like you said, the true what the fuck story is what the fuck is with all these countries and these weird ass fucking laws that they have for video games. Seriously, makes no sense. Derek, what do you think about the story?
Jay, this story has me saying, what the fuck? And on that, why don't we move on over to the mailbag and voicemails? Our good friend Arthur Maloney asks, in a much shorter context this time, do you guys do any retro gaming? What are your favorite titles? Do you need a retro gaming guy? Because I can be that guy for you. Thanks, and keep bringing the funny whatever week you guys decide to podcast. I don't think that either of us do a whole lot of retro gaming.
But I'm like a one and done gamer, and I think Derek maybe a little less so. But I'm like, I'll play a game 2-3 months, and then I'll be like, oh, this game sucks. I'll move on.
Sometimes if I'm in an arcade, I'll play an old school game just because I love it. But we definitely need a retro guy.
Absolutely.
And if you are interested in that job, Sarcasmo Jones, our fantastic editor-in-chief, you can email him at editor@toololdtoplay.com. Let him know what your skills are. And I'm sure he would love to have someone on staff that's covering some retro game stuff, because it is not something that we do. We, our former community manager, former something public something guy, Dane Waterborne Tulloch. I don't even know what his title was at the time that he stopped doing his job, but he was a big retro gamer and big arcade cabinet guy. But even now he's busy with his own stuff, and he's kind of moved on for the most part. So we definitely, that is a gap we would love to fill. And if you're interested in doing that, we would love that. But as far as favorite retro gaming titles, I don't even know. I could probably go back if I had to. I could play the fuck out of Uniracers on Super Nintendo. I could play, I don't even know what else.
For me, it's I always go back to the Secret of Mana.
Yes.
Games of all time. So Secret of Mana would be me. Now, if we're going to go retro, like back into the cabs, like we're in the arcades themselves, then probably like Mortal Kombat. Some Street Fighter, because I played a lot of fighting games when I was a younger lad. That's what I did.
I like the original Tron arcade cab.
Oh, Tron arcade cab.
Where you pick the four different directions. You could go down one way. You had to fight the MCP. You go the other way. It's discs. The other way, it's light cycles. That game was always fun.
It was fun.
Yes.
But yeah, come aboard.
Yeah, most definitely. We always have room.
Train.
Get on this train of
toot toot, motherfucker. Get on. You're welcome.
All right, and Altius asks, after my question in the last episode about Microsoft scrapping the limited time price cut, they have now brought it back indefinitely. How do you think Xbox One sales will fare against PS4 until either E3 or until Sony announces their own price cut? Well, yeah, it was literally 2 weeks to the day that Microsoft did not have the price cut. Then they were like, it's coming back, and we'll let you know when it's going away, but it's here. It's here to stay. And I think this is good news for Mike. We kind of talked about this last time, what Microsoft was fucking up by making it go away.
I think we made them, once again, I think it's our influence that has done this, by the way.
Yes. So take what we said last time, reverse that, and that is what we think about Microsoft. I think that this is the momentum they need to cover, unless come E3 time, like Altia said, he's always thinking that at E3, if Sony comes out with some fucking amazing announcement, then maybe that's the thing that brings people back to the PS4. But at this point,
that's long stretch.
Yeah, with that price cut, I think that Microsoft is going to have this over the next couple months at least.
Yeah, and in fact, when the price cut was put back in play, I got 2 texts from 2 separate people that were saying, "Hey, I'd like to know more about the friends of mine that are like more casual gamers, basically saying." They always ask my opinion. And I was like, if you have your choice between the two, I would always go with the Xbox. But they all were like, but everyone's saying PS4. But then they texted me after this came back and they said, I just saw about this thing. Do you think it's still worth it to get an Xbox? And I was like, absolutely. And both of them bought Xboxes. So the price cut is real. Whenever it comes down to the pocketbook and you're looking at 2 things and it's like, they're pretty similar, which, by the way, I don't think is true. I think the Xbox is actually better. But if that's your swaying point to get them into that environment and they get to play with it, they get to see what the Kinect's all about and all the other awesome media features, they're going to be like, not only did I save money, I got a better system. This is fantastic. Yeah. So
still for $350, you can go out and buy an Xbox One right now that has 2 Assassin's Creed games with it. Now that have been at least patched to some extent where it's playable and people are not inside out skeletons. And that's 2 legit fucking AAA titles with a console for $350. That's unheard of. So I think this is good news for Microsoft. And I guess we'll talk about this as we get closer to E3 and see what's going on with this. But I would not be surprised when we see the NPDs this month and next month that Microsoft has nailed these 2 as well. Well, great feedback, everyone. And if any of you have feedback, give us a call, 773-527-2961. Email us at podcast@tooltoplay.com. You can also comment on this episode's thread on the Tool to Play homepage. And sponsors! Remember, by supporting our sponsors, you help to support Still Got Game. Now, before we get into legit sponsors, last week we had Code Monkey, our good old friend, Code Monkey 420, on Xbox Live. Some people know him as Everyday Drinker. He was the co-host in the show for 160 some odd episodes. He's moved on. He runs this site called awesomedrinks.com. And he gave us a coupon code exclusive to our viewers and listeners last week. So I'm going to pitch it one more time because to be honest, I still have not bought anything from there. But today I legitimately was on his site. I was going through and I found a whole bunch of cool shit. I was like messaging Tiff, hey, we could use one of these. We could use one of these. So he gave us a 20% off code on awesomedrinks.com. That code is 202P, the number 20, the number 2P. No, not .com. What am I saying? It's just 202P. Enter that in, you get 20% off, and that's a huge savings. And I think he's got some other deal running concurrently that if you spend $50, you get free shipping.
Yeah.
So
and that stacks.
Yeah. So I got some stuff in my cart now. I just got to add a few more things, and then we're going to be getting some nice stuff from him. But yeah, Tiff also is placing an order apparently. She's in the other window here going nuts on awesomedrinks.com. Oh, she's saying I love my drinks, I think is what she's saying. But most of the stuff, ironically, because I drink I put my alcohol in a glass with ice.
In a container.
Like, I don't have a lot I can do. Tiff is the one that needs all these fancy drink things, like the fold out thing that has the margarita sponge, and then it's got a bin for salt and a bin for sugar. It all folds up and stores away. Like some cool shit for like $12 that thing was. So it's hard to get $50 worth of stuff in your cart because everything's so cheap. But thanks to Code for that. But he is not a legit sponsor, so I'll probably stop talking about him at this point. We are looking for real sponsors. So if you want to sponsor us, you have something to sell, email us podcast@tooledtoplay.com, call us 773-527-2961. You tell us what you're selling. We'll tell you what you're going to pay us. We'll sell it. You pay us. Boom. Done. Twitter us up. You can find everything Tool to Play related at twitter.com/tool-to-play. Everything podcast related is at twitter.com/still_got_game. I, king of the fucking internet, God of everything that's fucking holy, I'm at twitter.com/Derek Nolan.
And of course, you can find me at twitter.com/DudeIRock.
And Tiff is at twitter.com/electrify. Also, Facebook the fuck out of us. Facebook.com/tool-to-play. Facebook.com/Derek Nolan.
Facebook.com/DudeIRock.
And Facebook.com/Tiff Nolan. Maybe she's shrugging off camera, and no one knows, but I think it might be Tiff Nolan. We also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/tool-to-play. That is the place that you can find all of Tool to Play's video content. That means everything that we source from Twitch, everything that we source elsewhere. We put all that video content we collected together, and youtube.com/tool-to-play is your one-stop shop for everything. Hit has gone through. He has categorized everything into different playlists. He fucking organized. He's got backgrounds and shit on there. Not only does he produce the show, but he produces our YouTube channel. He's like the mad pimp bitch. Like, it's hard to believe seeing him yawn right now that he seems to be like less interested in what's going on than anybody involved. But really, Hit puts in yeoman's duty, and he does a great job with it. So our YouTube channel is full of great stuff thanks to Hit, and we love that. We also have an app. It's on the App Store, the real App Store, which also known as the iTunes App Store, and it's also on this piece of shit communist Android App Store, and it's the Tools Play app. It's a work in progress, and now that Jay finally has some time to work on it, the comments and feedback that you've all been giving us are going to be starting to be integrated in the app very soon, in short time. And we've got a lot of compliments. Well, maybe we got 2 compliments, and we had a lot of criticisms about the app, but we're going to work on those. We're going to integrate them as soon as possible and get a new version out there to both app stores. So keep your eyes open for an update to that app. You will see it on your iPhone under the updates section. On Android, who knows, because who knows even who has one of those phones. Also, please rate and review this podcast on iTunes. We need some 5-star reviews. So you click the 5-star button, you go there, you write something nice. Derek D. Smooth Nolan, super fucking handsome, great hair. Joel Dude I Rock Albert, full of energy. Hitman, great producer. Tiff Electrify Nolan, reads that news like a champ. Whatever you want to write, just attach 5 stars to it and it doesn't matter. You could also say some bad stuff, but we would recommend against that. But if it does have 5 stars, we'll kind of look a little bit away. We'll be like, it's okay. But not really. So please write something nice, 5 stars, boom, done. We also have our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/tool-to-play. Our live audience is watching on it right now. And this is where we do the show every week, each and every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. It's fucking live. We take comments. We see people talking in chat. We interact with them during the show. We also we marginally interact with them during the show. That's why Jay's shaking his head. We are going to do try to work in a segment where we strictly go to the chat room for actual feedback. The problem is when we go do a show live like this, we talk and chat just because of the nature of Twitch is delayed by anywhere up to 20 to 40 seconds. So we can't be like, we'll take a question from Twitch right now. And then we could sit there and wait. And then we'd be like, okay. And Twitch is commenting. So maybe we say, in 30 seconds, give us a question. Then we still talk about something else. Then we go back. So we have to figure out the logistics of that. But we would like to get chat more involved in the show. But when there is stuff in there that's important or somebody corrects us, we usually cover it right away in the show. And we love having people here watching live and providing some feedback. But like I said, each and every Monday night, twitch.tv/tooltoplay. And Jay, on that, why don't we wrap this 301st episode up? I am Derek D. Smooth Nolan.
And I am Joel Dude I Rock Albert.
Remember, we're not here next week.